Welcome to the Fundamental Excel class part 1. And my name is Festus Ogunbayo. So in this class we are going to be introduced to the beginning part of Microsoft Excel. This is the part 1 of the Fundamental Excel class, which is divided into 3 classes. I hope you would enjoy yourself during this class. I want to assume that you have Microsoft Excel pre-installed in your system, as that is part of the requirements of this class. I'm not going to, however, teach you how to install Microsoft Excel. If you need to install, you can visit an engineer, a computer engineer for the installation. Just install the Microsoft Office. Just install the Microsoft Office, that will suffice. But if you want to try and do it yourself, I can recommend you visit getintopc.com to download the Microsoft Excel and follow the installation instruction. So I want to believe that you have Microsoft Excel pre-installed. But to start with, I'm going to like to teach you how to launch Microsoft Excel on your system. I believe we could have people in this class who do not know how to launch Microsoft Excel. Don't feel bad, it's not a problem. I'm going to teach you how to launch Microsoft Excel on your system, and then from there we are going to progress and move on to exposing ourselves to the main content of this course. So click on your start button. Click on start button. Now you will see your application. Scroll down. If you are using Microsoft Excel 2016 and above, you will see your Excel under the letter E of your application. But if you are using a lower version, you might not see that there. So if you just double click this or click once, it will open your Microsoft Excel. It will launch your Microsoft Excel. So for those that are using the lower version, scroll down, look for Microsoft Office. It could be 2013, 2010. Click on it, you will see Excel 2013. If you click on that, it will launch your Microsoft Excel. Now if you have a lower version such as 2007, you might not see Excel 2013. You will see something like Microsoft Excel 2013. Click that, it will also suffice. In this case, I have a 2016 version, so I'm going to be launching by going to the letter E and click on Excel. So now that is how to launch Microsoft Excel on your system. So now we can now come into our main class details and discuss the fundamental of Excel. Now this is my screen after clicking the Microsoft Excel to launch. You can see it is loading. This particular screen is just showing that it is trying to launch every file you have, every add-in, every template. Sorry, mine is taking a little bit late because I use my Microsoft Excel so well and I have a lot of things. For you as a beginner and a freshly installed Microsoft Excel, you might not experience that as you have less file. Now this is the screen that appears after launching your Microsoft Excel. I'm still going to explain this in the course, but this is called the Excel start screen. This is where you can decide to create a worksheet. You can decide to create a workbook, sorry. You can click on new, open and all that. But in this case, we are going to click blank. I'm coming back to that. Let's go into our course outline. In this course, you will be exposed to the very beginning of Microsoft Excel usage. So it is assumed you don't have prior knowledge, and so we are not thinking you possibly have an idea. So you can feel free that you don't know anything. This course is for you. But however, it is very important you have an active email, because that's where we would have correspondence and also send files for this course for you. And like I said before, have a Microsoft Office pre-installed on your PC, because that is the content the particular application package that contains the Microsoft Excel. So to run down through this course, you can see the course outline on the right hand side of the slide. So the course is divided into 3, like I've mentioned: Excel interface, and that is the particular aspects that this video is covering, the part 1. In this, you'll be introduced to Microsoft Excel. I'll teach you the quick access toolbar, creating, copying and deleting sheets, inputting data, selecting data, copying and pasting data, inserting rows and columns, hiding rows and columns. The other part of the course are formatting and some function. So this is the part one, and I want to welcome you. Now, introduction. Excel is a spreadsheet application that allows you to organize, store, and analyze data. While you might feel that Excel is complex, is recommended for people that have complex data, I can tell you anyone can learn and use this program's sophisticated feature, as Excel makes it simple for you to work with various type of data, where you are trying to keep a budget, you are trying to organize a training, you are trying to have a log or create an invoice, you are trying to have a database for students, you are trying to have a score sheet. Whatever you're trying to do, just try to keep records. Excel is a good platform for you to use. So you're welcome. If you want to do anything that has to do with data storing, welcome to the right course. Now, the Excel interface. Like I said while I was launching the Excel start screen will appear first time you open Excel 2016 and above. I want to believe for the older versions too. So the Excel start screen, like I showed you, is an area where you can decide to create a new workbook, select a template, retrieve your recently changed workbook from there. From the Excel start screen, you can locate and select blank workbook to access the Excel interface. The Excel start screen is not the interface. This is the Excel start screen, and as you can see on the screen, it is showing details of recent things I've done, and it has some functions on the left hand side, such as home, which is what is displaying, and then we have functions such as blank workbook if you want to create a blank workbook, and in this case that's where we are going to be clicking, because that's where we would have access to the Excel interface itself. So you can decide to create a new workbook from here. You can open a workbook you have opened before, and these are the recent ones I've worked on. You can also decide to create a template by coming to this more templates. By clicking there, you have access to Excel templates that has been created for your usage. I also like to lay a foundation of introduction on some of the things you might meet in the Excel workbook, particularly Excel interface, which I will be explaining, and that is the ribbon and the quick access. The ribbon has various tabs, and each has group of commands that helps you to achieve your activities frequently on Microsoft Excel. So I'm also going to introduce you to the quick access toolbar, which is going to assist you in understanding some parts. Now, coming to my Excel page, I click on blank workbook to create a new workbook, and this is going to show up. This particular screen you are looking at, everything you are looking at here is the Excel interface. This is what appears when you open Microsoft Excel. So that's the Excel interface. Now I would like to introduce you to the content of the interface, and of course I have to start from the ribbon and the quick access, like I've mentioned in the slide. I want to believe you are following my slide. Now this particular place I'm trying to highlight or trying to move around is called the ribbon, and it contains all this area. This section I'm trying to highlight is called the ribbon. It contains different tabs. It contains different tabs: the home tab, the file tab, the home tab. It contains of different tabs, and I would show you each of the tab. From the insert, page layout, formulas, data, all those are tabs. They are all tabs. They are all tabs to the Acrobat. They are all tabs contained in the ribbon, and each of these tabs now contain groups. I can click on the insert tab. You can see now. Let me use the home tab to explain. It has the clipboard group, the fonts group, the alignments group, the numbers group, the styles group, the cells group, and the editing group. All these are groups contained in a tab. All these are groups contained in a tab. And now the alignment tab, they consist of different commands. Each group contains of different for the fonts. Now it consists of the bold, the italics, the underline, change font style and all that. The alignment, you have the right, the left, the middle, the positioning and everything. So each of the groups contain different set of command. Now let's go to the formula tab. The formula tab consists of the function library, the defined name, those are the group, and formula auditing and also, and the function library contains the groups I have moved my cursor around. So let's come back to the home tab. Now there's a particular part of this that I want to explain to you again. You can see me navigating through that line. That's the ribbon. That's the ribbon. So it is important to get that very clearly. So now the quick access, I need to introduce you to the quick access toolbar. The quick access toolbar is the right angle, the left top of the worksheet. All those set of keys you see me navigate around makes up the quick access toolbar. So it consists of, the save, the undo, the redo, the everything, the alignment, whatever it is, they are all part of the quick access toolbar. Now this quick access toolbar can be customized. You can decide to customize the quick access toolbar for yourself. So now let me teach you how to customize the quick access toolbar. Adding commands to the quick access toolbar, click on the drop down like you can see. You can, like I've said before, that's the quick access toolbar. Click on this drop down arrow. It will bring out this dialog box with all these commands you are looking at. It will bring out this dialog box with all these commands, and then you can decide to click any of them, and whatever you click that has not been added will be added. Whatever that has been added before will be removed. So now let us go back to our Excel worksheet so that we can now do it. So like I said before, you need to locate the arrow, that drop down arrow that brings out the customize. Now click on any of these to add. Now in this case, I'm going to remove the redo. If you look at the top, you can notice that the redo has been removed, the redo button. Watch that place before it had the redo. So I'm going to add it back, and now you can see it has been added to the edge. So you can decide to change the arrangement, you can decide to adjust and do whatsoever. That is how to customize the quick access toolbar. Now coming to our slide, backstage view. What is the backstage view? The backstage view is an area of the Excel that gives you options for saving, opening a file, printing, sharing your workbook. So we're going to go back to our Excel file so that we can carry that out anyway. To access the backstage view, click on the file tab. Click on the file tab. Click on the file tab. Yeah, so this particular view you are looking at is the Excel back view. Excel back view. Now there's a difference between the back view and the Excel start screen. You can see they have the same options, but if you look at this particular section I'm highlighting, this particular section wasn't part of the Excel start screen. The info, save as, up to the close, everything here, they were not part of the start screen. That's because before you were trying to create a new worksheet, it is just a start screen, but now it is assumed that you have opened your workbook and then you have edited it, and then you need to do some changes to that particular worksheet. So that's why these options are there. These options are there because they are for modifications after the save as, the save, and all others. So in this case, I'm going to introduce you to how to save workbooks. Now the save button is majorly used when you have saved your workbook before and you just want to save to an updated version of it. It's not like you made some changes and you want to save changes. That's when you use the save. But when you use a save button, when you have not saved your workbook before, it automatically activates the save as button. So the save as button is majorly used to save new workbook, or when you want to save a particular workbook in another version. You don't want the workbook to be the same thing. You don't want the changes to appear in your previous workbook, but you want it to appear separately as a workbook. In that case, you use the save as button. So note, if you use the save button when you have never saved the workbook, it is going to automatically activate the save as button. So they have different function, and of course the control S works for the save. Let's click on save as here in this case so that we can see what it brings out. Now it brings out this dialog box. You see this part of the left side. This left side now helps you to navigate. OneDrive is for Microsoft Cloud if you decide to save on the cloud, which of course you have to be logged in. This PC goes to your PC, and browse also goes to the same place as this PC. So I'm clicking on browse. It's going to bring out a dialog box where I can set my location. So now this is the dialog box. In this case, I'm going to click on desktop. I'm going to choose desktop. Yep. So I'm going to rename this file to practice file 2. And then this save as type is where you can change the extension of the workbook. So let us click on it and see what is there for us. So it gives us different type of saving. You can decide to choose comma delimited, CSV, Macintosh. You can do a lot of, but in this case, you are going to be using the Excel workbook. Let's say you give your workbook to somebody after working, and the person could not open it because the person was using a old version of Excel. You can always come back to your Excel workbook, click save as, and save as Excel 97 to 2003. That works for older workbooks. So I'm clicking Excel workbook and save. So it's going to save it on the desktop, and you will see that the file book name here has changed to practice file 2. So that's the work of the save as. While we now start working on this worksheet, you can always use save to update changes and keep changes. Now I'm still going to go back to this back view because I want to teach you how to export workbooks in other formats other than the ones I've shown you. So click on file, come to export. Click on file, I'm doing that again. Come to export. And I have 3 options: create Adobe PDF, create PDF, XPS, document, change file type. Now in this change file type, you see it exposes us to different type of extensions that we have. You can click save as another file type, but that is not where I'm dwelling. I'm going to be dwelling on the create PDF / XPS document. So I'll click on create PDF / XPS again. So this helps us to keep it at an extension that cannot be modified. So click on options. Yeah. So in this case, you see that active sheets is selected. We have selection. That's for if you have selected a part of your workbook or worksheet and you only want to export that part. It's not like you want to export the entire. Now the entire workbook is when you have a workbook that contains more than one sheet. In this case, we have one sheet, but it's possible to have up to 10. Now up to 10, as many as you want. So if I want to export the entire of all of the sheets in a single book, I will be click on that entire workbook and then click OK. So it's then publish. It's going to publish it. Okay, we didn't find anything to print. It's saying that because there's nothing in my worksheet. My worksheet is empty. So I'm still going to explain to you what worksheet and workbook are, because I know some of you might be confused that this guy is saying workbook, is saying worksheet. So let's go to workbook and worksheet. I would like us to go back to our slide. We'll talk on our slides and then we'll come back to our Excel platform again. Okay, workbook and worksheets. Now by default, every workbook has at least one worksheet, like I've said the other time. Now you can create numerous number of worksheets in your workbook. Now you can, if you decide to adjust the look of the worksheet, you can follow the instructions seen on the screen. I think we are going to have a perfect view, but that's not the motive of this course, so I'm not really dwelling here. I really want to teach you how to edit workbooks and worksheets especially. So a worksheet is like Let me use an illustration of a book. For instance, your workbook is your textbook and your worksheets are all the pages in the workbook. So that's that. So let's move on. Please, I need you to note you can also group worksheets together in a particular workbook. You can have worksheets grouped together. So I'm going to be teaching you inserting a new worksheet. I'm excited to teach you this part. I'm so excited because we are getting into the main activities of the interface of Microsoft Excel. So now I want us to let's go back to our Microsoft Excel and do some hands-on on inserting a new worksheet. Okay, to insert a worksheet, this entire thing you are looking at is called a worksheet. Everything, the entire file itself now is regarded to as a workbook. So I've explained before that an illustration to explain what a workbook and worksheet is that you thinking of your workbook as you see I'm showing you sheet 1. You can still have more than sheet 1, which is what we are going to do now. So like I said, workbook is like your textbook and worksheets are the pages. So you can decide to have 100 pages, 10 pages and all that, but it will still be a single workbook. So practice file 2 is our workbook. Now let's talk on how to insert a new worksheet. Now to insert a new worksheet, I will firstly need you to there are several ways to do this. I need to tell you that, but in this course we'll always introduce you to the simplest way. Even though I'm not telling you I'm going to be introducing you to the usage of shortcuts for it, but I'll introduce you to the simplest way. So you will see a button right beside your sheet, the number of your sheet. You are going to see a button. I've shown you that all this is sheets. Can you see the button? The plus button, that is the button. New sheet button. So if you click on that button, it's going to create a new worksheet. So I hope you understand that. So let's do it. Let's click it. Click on this. Oh, yeah, can you see it has created another worksheet? He named it sheet 2. You can decide to click again, click again, click again. You see that it's creating new worksheets and they are all still inside a single workbook. Now, if you want to work on a particular worksheet, you have to click on it. Just click on that worksheet. It's going to activate it. So any worksheet you are clicked on is the current. So let's input some data, name, date of birth, and class the worksheet. So to rename, you come to that particular sheet you want to rename. Let your cursor be shifted there. Then right click on it. Place your cursor, please click on that sheet. Place your cursor on that place you clicked. Then right click. I click on sheet 2 to show you the clicking now. I'm going back to sheet 1. So now, then right click on it. Right click, it should bring a dialog box just like what I have on my screen. I believe you should see that too. Then click on rename. Then it activates your typing cursor. Now you can write the new name. I'll save this as personal information since in statistics we regard name, date of birth and all those things as personal information. And then I can decide to rename others too. Right click the same way we did. So let me say in this case, let me say it's a MacBook. I have subject, no capital please, subject and then score. Forgive my spelling, please adjust the spelling on your hand. Right click on that sheet name and click rename. Now I'm going to save this as exam score. Now I think basically that's all. So now I want to introduce you to deleting sheets because I need to delete this sheet 3, 4 and 5. I really do not need them. So to delete, click on that particular sheet you want to delete. Just like that. I'm deleting 3, 4, 5. Please remember, click on sheet 3, 4, click on sheet 3. I'm trying to show you. Right click and click delete. It deletes. Right click on sheet 4, delete. Right click on sheet 5, delete. Now this is getting more interesting. Now I can decide to say that I want to put a color. Maybe you are somebody that likes to color your stuff. I want to put a color. Right click, then come to tab color. So I like color green, so I'm going to select color green. So that's, if you notice now, you will notice there's a change. It has put personal information as green. So let me color this to the same way. Right click, click tab color, and put red. Yeah. Blue. And you can decide to use other colors anyway, blue and everything. So now let's say you want to copy your worksheet. You want to duplicate a particular worksheet. You want the content of this worksheet to appear elsewhere. You want to modify the worksheet, but you don't want to do that on that particular sheet. You want to create another copy because you need all those information there too. I'm going to teach you how to copy a worksheet. So right click, click on move or copy. Now you see this dialog box, personal information, you see exam score. So you will notice the before sheet. It means any sheet that is selected is where my new sheet will be placed before. If I select exam score, it will come to before it. But in this case, we are going to be selecting move to end because we want it to be after the exam score. Now in this case, don't just click OK because it will just move it to the end. Click create a copy. So that means I want you to create a copy of this particular sheet and move it to the end. Now there are several things I might need to explain here. In a case where you want to move this sheet to another sheet, firstly you will see that to book, click on it. You will notice I only have new book and practice file 2. That's because any book you want to move and a sheet from, maybe I want to move from practice file 2 to practice file 3, they have to both be opened. So if it is opened, I will see it here. Then you can click create a copy if you want it to create a copy over there. Otherwise, if you don't click that, it will move this sheet from practice file 2 and move it down into practice file 3. So please note that. So in this case, I'm just going to select my practice file 2 and I'm creating a copy inside it. Boom, personal information 2 has been created. So it's a duplicate of the personal information before. Let me change this color to yellow. Tab color yellow. So we are good. So I've been able to expose you to renaming, deleting, creating, and also copying a worksheet. So now we're going to move on to the next item on our course outline, which is inputting data. So in this case, let me just have a dummy data that we can work on. Since we have name, date of birth, and class, let me just have a dummy data we can work on. So now I need to first explain to you that these lines are called columns and they are named as alphabets. While those you see with numbers are called rows. 1, 2, 3, they are called by numbers. Numbers indicate rows and the alphabet indicates column. So now, having said that, I also want to believe that you'll be able to recognize what is called a cell. Now, what is called a cell is the intersection between A and B, A and the number, between the column and the row. So it's called A2. The intersection between column A and row 2 is A2. So that's that. What I just highlighted, that's A2. So the area I'm highlighting is where the name of the cell appears. So you can see anywhere I click, it appears there. You can also try and get that. So but note that it is always an intersection. A cell is the intersection of a column and a row. It is very important that you put that into your probably notes or anything whatsoever. So now we are going to go around organizing and understanding some parts of this worksheet. So quickly I'm going to run you through inputting a particular data, just something we can work on for the moment. and I will need you to pay rapt attention to that. Okay, so in a case where I need to add to you that we have something called cell range in Microsoft Excel. That's when you select multiple cells. Now, don't be surprised at how I'm doing it. Click that particular cell, left click, hold down that left click and drag. You have this. So when you select more than one cell, it is called cell range. You can select down the column, down the row, and row and column wise anyhow. Just know that whenever you are doing this, that is called cell range. A single cell is called cell, but when you are selecting more than one, that's a cell range. And to select a cell is just by clicking. So I'm clicking on this part of my cell so that I can input the information I have. Click on cell A2, and let's say the name Festus Ogunbayo. Click anywhere outside, click the next cell, date of birth, and what's today's date? 17th October, let's say 2021. No, 21. Yeah, 21. Then class SSS3, since we use senior secondary school in Nigeria. Let's say SSS, no capital, SSS3. So, and that's that. So let's say I still want to input another one. Let me talk about how to input data. There are several ways of inputting data. Now, one other good way is now wait, click out. Now I want you to click on the cell under, that's A3. Now I'm going to click on A3. Click on A3 now. Now let's say Fessy, Fessy. Then you can decide to navigate in various ways. If you want to go to the next tab behind this, you can just decide to press tab. If you press tab, it's going to take you to the cell on the right. Did you see that? So you can do that too. Let's say today's date is 12 December 2021. Let's say that's the date of birth. Now I press tab again. So let's say this one is in SSS2. SS2. SSS2. Now there are other ways again. There's another way again. Let's say you want to type downwards. Let's say Festus Ogunbayo again, and I want to go down. You just press enter. It will move to the row cell under. That's A5. It's going to move to the cell under. Now if I move it under, can you see that? Press enter. I just pressed enter, it moved under. I press Gabriel, I press enter again, it's going to move me under that particular cell. So that is for if you have decided that okay, in this time around though, I want to input column wise. So that is that about inputting data. I think I've been able to expose you to different ways of inputting data. Now you can decide to adjust the format. Let's say we want to work on this date format now. You see, I spoke about ribbons, tab, and group. Now under the home tab, but in the number group, you will see a part called home tab. Please note that home tab, number group. Yeah, anything you want to change, you must first click on it. So I've clicked on that particular cell. Now I'm going to change it to short date. Can you see that it adjusted it? I click on the next one, I click on the drop down, and I click short date. So you can just follow what I'm doing to also activate. You can see it has put it in the right date format. Let's say I have a number. Let me just press any number. No, clear the equal to and the minus. Let me just put any number. Now you see it's writing general. Let me change it to number format. You will see that it has put it in number format, and now notice that it now has decimal points, 2 decimal places. Now you can decide to remove this. Go to the number group again. This is for increase decimal, the other one is for decrease. So let's click on the decrease. So click on it the first time, it removes the first decimal point. Click on it the second time, it removes the second one. Can you see that we now have a whole number? You can decide to increase it like that if you want to increase it. can decide to. There are several ways of doing this, but I will always tell you the simplest way of doing it. So I believe I've been able to introduce you to how to edit and all that. Now, let me tell you how to fill. Let's say you want to edit multiple columns. Let's say you want to edit multiple cells. Multiple cells. So, like I've said, when you want to highlight a cell, you go and click on the beginning, the starting point. So, let's say I want to highlight this particular column, column C. You see that if I just clicked on that particular color and it filled where I was clicked. So you need to select where you want to fill. So in this case, I want to select from class downward. So take your cursor to class, click down on it, click down on class and drag down. Now let's stop here. Now I fill it with color. You see that it filled everything. The first one I did before that I had the SS3 filled only. It was because I just clicked on SS3 and fill, so it will fill only SS3. From there you can edit everything in the selected area together. Don't forget how I said you should select, hold down on the beginning and drag down. Exactly. So I believe you have gotten that. So now let me take you through rows and column. Let me take you through rows and column, how to insert rows and column. So inserting a row. Note that I told you that rows are named by number. So I want to insert a row between row 3 and 2. So click on row 3, click on row 3. On that click, now right click, just click on row 3 like that, then right click. I've clicked out to show you again. Can you see that? So now right click on it and click insert. It will insert the cell between row 3 and 2. Can you see that? So that's beautiful. That's what I want to do. So now I'm going to be inserting a column now. Let's say I've decided to insert a new column between column B and C. Between column B and C. So what you do is you select column C. Select column C. I want it to appear before column C. So it's going to be between column B and column C. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight column C, right click and click insert. Can you see it has inserted a new column? So that's how to insert a new row and insert a new column. Okay, so I want to talk to you about how to delete rows and column. So that I will not waste this, so that you'll be able to practice, because I'm going to give you this file as a result file so that you'll be able to check and balance with yours. Let us duplicate these worksheets. I believe I've taught you how to do that. So right click, go to move or copy. Now I want it to be between exam score and the personal information. Yeah, so click create a copy and okay, it will duplicate. So can you see it has been duplicated? So let's come to the duplicated version now. I want to delete the rows and column. So I want to delete the rows and column. So to delete these rows and column, I think I've explained a lot. So just go to that particular column or row you want to delete. Is row 3 here. Click on it, right click, click delete. Go to the column, right click, select first, right click and click delete. So I've exposed you to how to insert rows, insert columns, delete rows and delete columns. So I want to believe that there is still a lot to expose you to, though this is the first part of the whole thing. So let's say you decide to want to clear the contents without deleting the column. You don't want to delete the column, but you want to clear the contents. The first thing you do is you highlight either the entire column or that particular content you want to delete. So I've taught you how to highlight, left click and drag down, but let's highlight the entire column. Right click now and click clear contents. Click clear contents. I hope you can see that on your screen. Click clear content. So it's going to clear the entire content of that particular column without deleting it. So I can decide to delete it also. Now Ctrl Z to return. So can you see that? So that's how to do that. So I think another thing I need to explain to you is I've done a lot Yeah, okay. I need to expose you to how to copy and paste. I think I have not spoken about that. I'm trying to track the course outline to make sure I'm in line. So let me talk to you about how to copy and paste text. So the first thing you do when you want to copy and paste is select what you want to copy. And I've taught you how to select. Either if you want to select a single cell, you just click that cell, it is selected. If you want to select a multiple cell, you click down, you hold down your left click on the beginning and drag. So let's go to cell that has name. So hold down your left click on name, that's A1. Hold down your left click. I've not clicked on it, now I've clicked. So now left and drag to cover only the content you want to copy. Then right click and click copy. So you've copied the content. Now let's say you want to paste it anywhere, just click where you want it, the pasting should start from. Let me look at it. No, I don't want it to be here. Let it be around H10. Yes, H10. Now right click. Now there are different types of pastes. There are different, all this you are looking at is a text. You see this is going to paste it exactly the way it is. This will only paste the values. If you click this key, it will paste only the values, to paste as numbers. This will only paste formulas. So in an intermediate class, when you are introduced to formula, and also the part 3 of this fundamental, when you see the formula part, so you can just copy a particular formula to another position. So it won't copy the content but just the formula. So that is that. Then the other one next beside it that has a box, arrow to arrow, that's a transpose. You can see it's turning row to column, column to row. So and other type, but basically we are not focused on others. We are not focused on this other two. So we are only focused on this first one. So click on it. Yeah, can you see it has been pasted? Now you notice there is hash, 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 hash. The reason why there are hashes is because of the size. So there are different ways to increase this size. You'll be taught in the next part of this fundamental course, but let me just introduce you because of this. So go to the edge of this column. You will see an arrow. Can you see my arrow? That line that has two arrows, make sure it's appearing. Once it appears, click down and drag. Click down and drag. So if you drag, it's going to expand. Can you see as I'm dragging? Yes. So now your content can be seen. So it was not showing before because of the size of the document. Of the column, sorry. It was not showing before because of the size of the cell. So now let me introduce you to hiding and unhiding columns. You might decide to want to hide a particular column in your worksheet, or more than one column self. Probably you are working on something and a junior officer is there. You don't want the junior officer to see that particular column. You can hide it and the person is still looking at your screen but cannot see that particular column. Or you want to give somebody out your work and like, see, I don't want this person to see this particular information. You can always decide to hide and unhide. So let me first, if you look at your screen, you will see that you still have this selected plane, this copied plane that is moving around. It's because you have copied. So to remove this, you need to double click in a cell that is different from that particular cell. Just double click and click out again, so it will take it away. You can see it's all balanced now. So now let's decide to hide cell H and I. I'm going to hide cell H and I. So to hide cell H and I, the very first thing you do is you select them. I've told you how to select a column. Click on the column, hold down your click and drag. Hold down your click and drag. So in this case, I'm dragging from H to I. So now I have them selected. There are different ways of hiding a particular column, but this case I'm right clicking and clicking hide. I hope you saw how I did it. So there are other ways now. You notice from G is jumping H and I to J. So there are different ways of removing. The first one is by double clicking on the hidden. You will notice that before, the line I had at the edge was 1, now it's 2. So if I double if I double click, it will come out. Just watch. You see that this line is just one rectangle with 2 arrows. Now look at it when I take it to the hidden part. So whenever you can see what we are going to see at the hidden part is telling you that there is an hidden column there. Can you see we have a double rectangle with two lines, with two arrows. So it shows that there's an hidden column there. So when you double click, it appears. Just double click when you can see these two dashes with two arrows. Just double click, it will come out. That was what I did there. So that's Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. I want to use another way. When you see this arrow appear, just right click. When you see this double line with two arrows, right click and click on hide. It will show the first one. Go back there again, right click. If it doesn't show that particular double line, it means there's no hidden cell. It's not seeing that hidden column. So that is how to do that. So I've taught you different methods of doing that. Peradventure you are still not clear, you can let me know in the comment section or send us an email. So we have literally come to the end of this class. So let's go back to our slide. I've been able to run you through my course outline, I believe. Yes, I believe, because I'm really keeping a track on it. We have to deliver what we told you we would deliver. So I've taken you to the introduction, quick access toolbar, the creating, copying and deleting sheets, inputting data, selecting data, copying and pasting data, inserting rows and column, and I just showed you how to hide rows and column. So it works the same way it works for the column. It works exactly the same way for the column. So the only thing that has to do is, instead of selecting H and I, you go and select it out 3 and 4. I told you that rows are known by numbers while columns are known by alphabet. So yeah, hiding rows and column, I've told you about this. So thank you very much. See you in the next class, where you will learn how to format data in Excel. Refer to the course outline for better understanding. You can reach out to us, you can reach out to your agents. So you'll be getting the part 2 of the fundamental class, where you can continue. We hope you're having a nice experience. Please do not fail to refer us to people and to also take the next stage of our class. Thank you very much. We are glad you are here.